Hey friends, I'm here. I've got my pink hair. Can you see it? Can you see it? We decided to go bolder. I have some really important things that are, I don't want to say they're scary to say because it's not scary information, but it's scary a little bit for me to talk about. And sometimes when you got to really put yourself out there, when that's what the universe is asking you to do, you need to just go get some crazy ass hair that's pink and bold and brave, like how you want to feel on the inside. Sometimes you gotta go outside with that, right? So that's the pink hair. It's part of the Wildflower project if you're following that. Um, and the timing ended up beautifully because I want to talk about the whole thing with Doreen Virtue. Oh, I have so much to say. Hey Mary, thank you for loving my crazy ass hair. Um, so Doreen came out with a video on Monday, same day as the eclipse. I'm just noting it. Um, Talking about her new journey and where she is in life. So if you don't know who Doreen Virtue is, Doreen Virtue is considered really like the mother of learning about angels and learning about intuitiveness. And she has courses that she teaches and certifies people in angel readings and being an angel reader or learning about the angels and tarot cards. And she has a fairyologist program. And really in the metaphysical world, her name is synonymous with all things spiritual. You think Doreen Virtue. She has beautiful angel card decks and oracle decks and tarot decks. And she's a cool mamma jamma. She really, in a time when that stuff was not readily available, she really pioneered the way for that. And I have nothing in my heart but deep love and respect for her and for who she is. Over the past few months, I do have a lot to say, and I am heartbroken, if I'm completely honest. I thought about what I was going to say about this whole thing, and I was like, I'm not going to say that. But then I'm like, no, that's not true. And if I'm being authentic, I'm going to tell you that I'm heartbroken about how she chose to handle this. I'll get into that in a second. So for a while now, I think maybe back in April, Doreen posted a video on her YouTube account and on Facebook of her baptism. She got baptized. Now, Doreen, at the same time as being like a real spiritual leader and really being a huge influence in bringing knowledge of angels and ascended masters and oracle cards and all of those things, tarot, everything. And at the same time has always been religious. So that was not, I saw that and I thought, cool. And she's been really, over the past couple of years, been getting a lot more into learning about Jesus and teaching about Jesus. None of that really ruffled my feathers. I will say a couple of years ago, if you follow Doreen, she like all of a sudden stops like touring and speaking, which has always been her thing. Teaching and going and being a speaker places and inspiring people. And she just suddenly stopped. And it seemed a little strange to me only because of the way she spoke about it. Like it was draining her and she didn't feel powerful and blah, blah, blah. And I thought like, girl, you teach this stuff. What's happening? You could see her power slipping away from her, I guess, in other words. So she posted that she had gotten baptized and I thought, cool. But after that, things started getting a little weird from her. And I want to also make a super clear point right now in saying, like, I'm not someone who is religious. I don't follow a religion. I'm not a practicing religious anything. I grew up in a religion and I'm not in it now, but I have a deep deep respect for religion. I love learning about it. I love the symbolism. I feel comfortable going to religious ceremonies. I have my kids baptized because I love that ceremony. I have friends who are religious, religious leaders for friends, and I am 100% cool with that. I have nothing against religion at all, not even a little. I'm not looking to convert people away from it into my world. No, I'm not a saleswoman. Converting to spirituality doesn't even make sense. So no. But what I have issue with is anybody, religious or not, speaking out and telling people that who they are, the way that they're made, the way that they're born, that who they are is not okay. That's what I have a problem with. And I want to make it clear that before I go further with this talk, I'm getting teary because I'm getting fired up. I want to make it clear that not every person who subscribes to a religion behaves that way or dictates things that way. I'm not lumping everyone into a category. I would be the last person who would do that. I don't like labels. I don't like categories. I don't like to be put in a box, hence the pink hair. I like to just do my own thing and do what feels right. Okay? So there's my disclaimer. And it's true. I hope you feel the authenticity of that. I really do believe that and feel that way. But for many of us who grew up very empathic with intuitive abilities, who could sense things and see and hear angels or feel them, or maybe you didn't know what it was, but you had something going on where you were getting messages, or maybe you could communicate to spirits and you were just born that way. You were just made that way. It's hard for us because we grow up being taught. For me, it was a lot of outside sources, not so much inside. My parents were very supportive of it. But for us, we're taught that that's wrong, that is somehow evil. And it's very difficult to grow up that way. And it's very difficult, even as an adult, when people hear that you're spiritual or that you talk to angels and all that, when they just judge you for it and they just decide that you are choosing evil or doing something bad or being disrespectful or stupid or fraudulent, like trying to trick people. There are way easier ways, you guys, to trick people out of money than doing this. Way easier. This is hard work. So I want you to understand that piece in case you're not one of those empathic people who grew up that way, because when you're constantly fighting that, you become attached, very much attached to people who are brave enough, like Doreen Virtue, to stand up and say, I'm going to teach about stuff that's considered taboo. And I am that. I'm going to show you that I do readings and that I speak to angels, and I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to give you information on them. One of the things that I really loved about Doreen was that she would teach about things, and she would include information in more of like spiritual teachings. And then in this religion, this is how they look at it. And in this religion, this is how they look at it. In this one, this is how they look at it. And if any of you have ever done something of Doreen's, you've probably noticed that. I love that because I love that it includes everyone. It's all encompassing. And it's sort of like saying, they believe slightly this way, they believe slightly this way, here's what's in common and here's what's different, and it's all cool. And you guys, that's my jam. I love that idea. I love that whole thing and that whole piece, right? So coming from that place, Doreen denounced tarot and speaking to angels and any kind of forecasting and reading stuff in front of you, which I'll say, I don't do a lot of that either, but I'm not against that. I don't think it's bad. And she said that anything that's not channeled directly through Jesus and anything that's looking forward or using tarot was one she was pretty specific about, is not something she's going to do anymore. And I don't know. I don't want to put words in her mouth. There was a bunch of videos that she made. Some got taken down and then new ones were put up, so I don't want to misquote because I don't know that I can exactly reference it for you. But she at least gave the impression that she thinks it's wrong. She said, in her religious practice, it's wrong. And I think the way that she worded it was, check in with God yourself and see what feels right for you, but I'm not doing that anymore. And she's an ascended master's in mediumship too as well. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for all the compliments on my hair, guys. I appreciate you all so much. Ascended master's and mediumship, she also said was wrong. Aside from tarot and any kind of forecasting or talking to angels. Doreen Virtue, whose name is synonymous with that. So here's the thing. Oh, and let me just also say that she said she's going to be taking her name off of all of those products. I'm taking my shoes off right now because I need extra grounding to talk about this. She said that she's taking her name off of all those products. So most of her oracle cards she does with somebody named Rad Live Valentine. And if you don't know who he is, he's one of the most freaking fabulous, awesome people that go check him out. He's amazing. And I'm so thrilled that I think what's going to happen is that he's going to carry the torch of the cards, and I think they'll be in great hands. So I'm excited about that. I hope that he does. I have been asked to come out with a deck of cards by many of you after you heard this. And yes, part of the Wildflower Project app, yes, I will absolutely do that. I already have some ideas in mind. If you have some, send them to me. But she's taking her name off of that stuff, and she's not accepting money for it anymore. At least that's what she said in one of the videos. You have to forgive me because there's conflicting videos that she's made, so bear with me on it. Did anyone watch the video that got taken down? I happened to see it. I don't know if anyone else did, but there was one that was posted on Monday and taken down, and then a new one that was posted on Monday too. So it's a bit confusing. The old one might still be on her YouTube channel. You can check there though if you want. So she's not taking money. She's donating the money to charity, a Hay House charity now, awesome, cool. Here's my problem. Doreen has built her life and her empire and her teachings on angels and communicating with them and really being a figure and a representative for those of us who needed that. That information is not easy to find. It's not, and before Doreen, it was almost impossible to learn about angels. Really, she pioneered that. She told stories. I never heard her speak in person, but I watched almost every single thing she did and followed it as a huge fan. She meant a lot to me and still does. And so the very thing that she spoke about for years and championed and fought for is suddenly the thing she's saying is now wrong. And I respect anyone's journey. I completely respect the fact that she's become, I guess, a born-again Christian. I think she always was one, but I think she is stepping more into it now and maybe taking on stricter, different beliefs, I guess is the way that I'll say that. The utmost respect for that. Great. Was a fan of learning about the stuff she was writing about Jesus. I'm down with JC. He's like the ultimate spiritual rebel. I'm cool with him. I love reading and learning about him, and I was loving how she was incorporating that. And I think I would have been completely fine, I think, if she had just gone and done and said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do much more stuff about Jesus, a little bit less angelly in reading, and I'm going to enter this chapter and really explore this in Christianity. It would have felt okay to me. It's the fact that she said that the other stuff is wrong that is so hard for me to deal with. Because what it's saying, whether she meant it or not, is that there's something wrong with how you're made if you're that way. If you trust your intuition and your intuition tells you to talk to an angel or an angel visits you, or you want to use a tarot card, I'll tell you about cards in a minute. You want to call these higher ups on the other side ascended masters instead of like a saint or whatever, that's wrong, and that speaking to the dead is wrong. When, guys, for every person I know who can do that, they were born with it. I mean, some people's talents show up later, but it's not, most people I know, and I know some of you are on here who can do this. We don't choose that shit. That stuff chooses us. All right. For years and years and years and years of my life, I tried not to hear angels and I tried not to speak to spirit. I didn't want to be that girl. I didn't want to stand up and to let everyone know that. I was afraid. And Doreen Virtue was one of the people who helped me feel like I had permission to do that, because Doreen is also a certified therapist. She's, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but she has like degrees in different religions. And she's really studied a lot of this stuff. And to suddenly say that stuff is wrong, you're saying to all the people who follow you and who love you and respect you and who have brought you to where you are, that you think that the way that they are is wrong. That's where my heart feels broken. That's where I feel sad. That's where I feel bad for the people who are still trying to come out of the broom closet and say, this is who I am. You know, the information's there. If you want to research how Christianity came to be and where a lot of the traditions come from, you can find it. It's called history, and you can look it up. And you can look up where the tarot comes from. The tarot was a deck of playing cards, just like any other deck of cards. That's how it started. It wasn't used for anything spiritual or tapping in or guidance or any of that. It wasn't used for that. It was just a game. And it came, I believe, from Italy. So there's conflicting, because there's also things that say they showed up in Egypt, and some of the symbolism is from France. And so you'll see this now in the modern decks, that like there's pieces from all of it. But the church outlawed cards altogether. Like, you couldn't play cards. The Christian church. I want to say it was the 14th or 15th century. I don't remember, but all cards were outlawed. It wasn't just tarot. And before they were outlawed, the tarot actually added in some other cards to represent Christian ideals and Christian symbolism, as a way to include people who were Christian. So they were outlawed because they were cards, and all cards were outlawed. I believe that they were outlawed so that you wouldn't gamble and waste time, like idle time, like that whole thing. Okay. I believe that's why all cards were outlawed. But tarot then became something where the symbolism was given meaning and used to gather information and to read energy and to give people messages. And that was done later. There's nothing evil about the tarot. There is a card with the devil on it in the true, authentic tarot deck. But you also have to understand that just because you pull that card doesn't mean that you've invited the devil in, or that the devil's going to come get you. You see, in my belief system, which is outside of Christianity, the devil just represents the shadow. It just represents darkness, and everyone's made up of lightness and darkness. So to not allow that because of that card and that people are channeling evil, that bothers me, because that's never what it was. If you look up pagan traditions, and I don't mean as much pagan the religion, very cool, into pagan stuff, one of the ones I like to study, love it. But I more mean like the original pagan belief system. That stuff wasn't there. We talked about darkness in people and much more nature infused things, and it wasn't about evil. Jamie said, and death represents endings and new beginnings. Yes, it was symbolic. So if you got the death card, it wasn't like, ooh, you're about to die. If you got a card with a sword chopping off someone's head, it was symbolic. It didn't mean that your head was going to be chopped off with a sword. Never has any kind of readings been that literal. And if you're having a session with someone who's that literal, they're doing it wrong. They don't actually know what they're doing. It's all symbolism. And so to say that those cards are wrong, it bothers me deeply, because they're not. And this could take us backwards. So I'm finding my voice to speak up. And the reason it's challenging for me is because I so deeply don't want to offend anyone. I so deeply don't want to offend somebody who believes that same way. So deeply I don't. But I also can't sit here while my people are being dissed. I can't sit here if it's the empaths of the world being dissed for who they were. I can't sit around if women's rights are being trampled on because you were born a girl, you have less rights. I can't sit around for that. I can't sit around and listen to people not have rights because they're gay, because you're born gay. I can't listen to that either. Whatever it is, I can't. And so I just can't do it anymore. I can't. I have to speak up. So this would be a good time to unfollow me if you want to, if this is going to be offensive to you. But here's the thing. If you have listened this far into my video and you are religious, please keep listening because I'm not speaking against you. I just want you to understand how it feels for us. I think if we can have conversations together, then we can shift things. We can make them better. I think if this stuff was more understood, that if we had more information, that it would be a different experience, right? And Danielle says, yes, symbolism. Danielle, I know, does tarot cards too. It's symbolic. I know someone who can read your cards with a deck of playing cards. The symbolism, she connects it to tarot and can read them that way. It's not the freaking cards. It's you. It's your ability. The cards are just helping you. And to say that ability coming from you is wrong is not okay with me. And I will, whatever tomatoes get thrown my way because of it, if people decide they don't like me anymore and can't follow me anymore or are against my business now because of it, so be it. So be it. I'm brave enough now to deal with that. But I can't sit and watch a person like Doreen say these things and do this without voicing for my people. I'm getting choked up now. When you are someone who is different, it's hard. And when someone like her paves a way and does that, it means so much to you. And when they decide to put that down in a way where they do it in such a fashion that it's insulting, that's not okay. And I will speak up against that. I will speak out for what I believe in. I'm not against Doreen Virtue. I am going to continue to follow her. I enjoy her. I might read some of her new books about Jesus because, again, cool with JC. What's up? Spiritual rebel right there. Nothing against him. But I feel sad in the way that she chose to handle it. Not that she did it. Not that she's found Christianity and appreciates that. I'm happy for her for that. High frickin' five. When you find something that speaks to you, I get it. Like you guys, I'm so into reading about like early on. Do you guys read Witch from Lisa Lister yet? Oh my, you have to if you haven't already. I know some of my LCs in here have read that. Oh my gosh, like I'm so into understanding that more and understanding where this idea of witches being bad, and because I get called a witch all the time. Does anybody else? And I'm just like, that book helped me just be like, that's not an insult to me anymore. Like I love learning about the patriarchy and all that stuff, but I don't do it from a place of I'm now against anyone who believes different. No, I just love to learn. I still love to learn about religious symbolism. I love when people use the Bible to empower other people with quotes, not to use fear-based thinking to lock them in a box. I don't like that. So that's where I'm coming from. I want to say that I feel like Doreen has been a warrior in this field for so much of her life. And so I'm going to choose to celebrate that and to hold on to that and to feel nothing but gratitude for her from that. And the warrior put down her sword or put down her torch and she's not fighting that way anymore. And so I'm picking it up. I got it. I'm going, and I want you to pick it up too. If that's who you are, be who you are, whatever that is. If it's someone who believes strongly in Christian values and Christianity, then go be that. If you're like me and you were born just a little bit different and you trust intuition and you love ascended masters, you think that they're just awesome, and you speak to angels and dead people visit you to say hi to you, I want you to know that that's okay. If you like to use tarot cards or angel cards or crystals or anything or essential oils, that is good. Do it. If that works for you, if that's right for you, if that's who you are, if that's authentic to you, then be that and do that. And do not let anyone tell you, especially with fear-based thinking, do not let anyone tell you that that's wrong, ever. It's all okay. I know people are going to be mad at this that I'm saying. I know. I can feel it. It's like a wave about to hit me. I'm going to share this video outside of this group here where I started it. And I know it's coming, and I'm ready, because I'm not against anything. I'm for something. And so I'm not out there trying to say that something's wrong. I'm out there trying to say, no, this is right also. Makes sense. I hope that comes through. Whoever you are and whatever you believe, if it's right in your heart, truly, if it feels right to you, if it serves you, if it allows you to be authentic, if it allows you to be powerful, if it gives you permission to be who you are, then do that. But if it doesn't, think. Step back and think. That's all I'm asking. Okay? Use your angel cards. Use your crystals and your oils, and use them proud. Talk to the angels, talk to spirits, channel them right in. I was made that way. I remember as a little tiny kid, that spirits would walk around my room at night before I went to sleep. I didn't ask for that. I didn't sit there at like 3, like, let me talk to dead people. I didn't know other people couldn't see that shit. I thought everyone saw that. I thought everyone heard angels talking to them all the time. I didn't ask to be that way. I'll tell you right now, you can't take it away from me. I'm not letting it go. I'm keeping it, because I am owning this shit now. But there was a while I didn't even want it. I would have given it away for anything, right? What's that quote? Maybe it's from Bon Jovi lyric, I think, and I was just going to quote like it was a quote. Well, to me, that's maybe my Bible, my gospel. It's like, tried to sell my soul and the devil wouldn't even take a bite. Not interested, right? It's just who I am. It's who I am. And if that's how you are too, it's okay. If you have a strong intuition, if you know someone's name pops into your head and they call you 2 seconds later, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just intuitive. The energy and the intention of the person calling you just hit you before the call did, and that's okay. If you walk by someone and you feel all their emotions as you walk by them, nothing wrong with that. If you want to talk to an angel, you need help and you want to talk to an angel, you want to talk to God, you want to talk to the universe, you want to talk to Jesus, you want to talk to a rock, you want to talk to a tree, you want to talk to a crystal, you want to talk to my pink hair, I don't care what it is. Do that. Do what feels right to you, and do not let anyone tell you that the way you are is wrong. Okay? Let's be brave about this together. Let's speak out about this together. Whatever it is, be you. Be you. And don't let someone tell you it's not okay. All right, let me scroll.